Okay, so the reason I'm doing this particular post is because I saw a post that Miniature, my good friend Miniature, some people say My Nature. So he posted something saying about first generation rappers and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, I want to big him up because from him being not from our generation, he has been defending our generation because he's trying to get the facts out there. And he's hit a lot of points, nail on the head. So he's basically expressed a lot of things, and a lot of things are factual and they're real and whatever. However, I feel he's got a couple of things wrong. And one of the things that made me put this post up is that it's not to be argumentative or anything, but just to state the facts and unblur those lines. So he said first generation UK rappers, and then he listed a bunch of names. He listed London Posse, he listed Hijack. You can't argue with that. 100% first generation. Yeah. And then he also listed people like Black Twang, Skinny Man, Funky DL, Kalashnikov, and you can't kind of argue with that, basically, because I don't feel like those guys, as much as I love them, and I think they made some amazing moves. I mean, I've blatantly told Black Twang that I thought So Rotten was one of the most important records from the UK hip-hop scene, and it was. And we can't argue with what Skinny Man or Kalashnikov did or what Funky DL did, like what an incredible producer and artist. So we can't argue with any of that. However, it's to unblur those lines. So when I saw Miniature's list, I thought, you know what, let me compile a list that just makes it clear. So in my opinion, the generations shift every 10 years. So we go from 1980 to 1990. Whoever was in that generation was first generation. So as long as you made the record before 1990, you're in that generation. If your records came out from 1990, 1st of January, all the way to December the 30th or 31st, 1999, then you're second generation. Then the same for 2000 to 2010, then 2010 to 2020. So that's how I break down my generation. Some of you may disagree and you may judge it differently. That's your opinion. You're entitled to do it the way you want to do it, but this is how I do it, and I feel this is a fair way to do it. Every 10 years, there's a shift. So we've got a list that I've basically got at the moment in my possession, which I asked a friend of mine, my good friend Jason Webster, who basically used to have all this information on his website, which is no longer active, but he's thinking about bringing it back. So look out for that. But he had all of this information on his website. Now, he's done his research for years. He's an avid fan. And he's basically compiled a list of all the people that made records all the way up to 1996. So I may get some of those off him as well. But I just wanted to clarify the blurred lines for when the generation, the first generation UK rappers, groups and all that were. We have to also give props to all the DJs and all the people behind the scenes that were part of all of this. So you can't mention all of this without mentioning people like, DJ Business and Pogo and Cupmaster Swift and, Streets Ahead and Steps Ahead all the way up in like the Midlands and stuff as well. And, you know what I mean? There's a lot of DJs that need to get their name checked as well. But I'm going to put this list up. This is all the rappers, all the groups that made records from the first generation. So again, from 1980 to 1989. Then after that, you had the likes of the obvious, the early ones, your Gunshots and your Hard Noises and people like that. So, do you know what I mean? There was a lot of them. There was, and for a while it went a bit quiet and then it came back, but it came back slightly different. So then you started getting your Black Twangs and your Roots Maneuvers and all that. And that's when the shift happened again and it started changing and it was different. But anyway, what I want to do is put this list up so that you lot that are interested in actually finding out about any of these guys, you can go and do your research, search for them online and find out who these guys are that made these records before any of you even knew this was going on. Because there was a time when nobody wanted to accept hip-hop. So the people that were accepting hip-hop was the kids, us lot. This was our life. This is what we did. And, we believed in what we did enough to carry on so that at some point you lot could pick up the baton and run with it. And that was what we loved it and what we enjoyed seeing. All we're saying is, and we're not begging, because we don't need to beg, because the truth is the truth. We know what the truth is, okay? And the truth is that you are not the first generation rappers. There was a lot of rappers that came before you, regardless, and I love Minnie for saying this. I have to say it again. I love Minnie for saying this, where he said it doesn't matter who was rapping in British accent, who was talking road, who was talking all these stuff. The point is, rap is rap. Yeah, we don't do this in any other field. You're not going to get this in football. You're not going to get this in rock music. You're not going to get this in the movies. You're not going to get this in any of those things. So why are we getting this where it comes to UK hip-hop? We need to stop all these arguing, and we need to give props where the props are due, and we need to make sure that people get the respect they deserve, and just give them something. That's all we're saying. Just give them something. Don't deny them what the facts are. Yeah, it may not be written in the history books, but all you have to do is pick up one of their records. You'll see the dates, and you'll know they were here before you. Right? Please stop changing the narrative, and that includes certain DJs that are on big radio stations that keep twisting everything that so as to make it benefit them. You are not the first. You will not be the first. You were never the first, and nobody sees you as the first. Stop being closed-minded to the point where you don't want to give people credits. Like, let's all stop being a bit selfish, like, and start being a bit more inclusive and give credits where credits are due. In the meantime, I just want to say, like, regardless of whether when we had all the big names, like, that were making the noise, remember there was people in the underground, they were making noise in their areas and doing whatever. That doesn't exclude them, because they still got dates on their records. They were making their records. And also, let's just clarify, just because you were rapping in 1982, 83, like myself, I started rapping as soon as I heard Sugar Hill Gang in 1980, 1979. As soon as we heard it, I was rhyming, but it wasn't my lyrics. I didn't start writing my own lyrics till 1983. And that's when I started going down to Covent Garden and rapping to certain people, and you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that I was that early in the game, because I had to make a record to get my reputation out there. However, for anybody who was there, you will see that I was in competitions, talent competitions. We were doing all the house parties all over the place. Everybody who was in Woolwich, Southeast London, like Brockley, New Cross, all them kind of places, even up in places like Tottenham, we were there. We were wherever there was something to go to. Shaftesbury Avenue, you know what I mean? We were there. We were always there. And a lot of the times we were on the streets. And I'm not just talking about me here. I'm talking about loads of others. Some of these guys never made records, so you're never going to know about them. But they were all included in building this thing. They were all part of building this thing. Yeah, so regardless of whether they made records or not, it's irrelevant. They helped somebody else get to a point where they could make a record. They gave someone else the inspiration they needed to carry on and make a record. And then that created some of tomorrow's legends, But yeah, so as much as, we got the bigger names like your London Posse, your Hijack, your Demon Boys, to me, Dizzy Heights was probably the first record, Christmas rapping. But apparently there's some Scottish rap record there that I've never heard of, but Nova Flip found that out. And also, Hard Rock Soul Movement. There's too many to mention, but they're all on the list. Okay? So, check the list out. If you're interested to find out who these people are, go and search them out online. And you know what? Let's just give them their props. That's all I'm saying. Let's just give them their props. If I can get the list together for the second generation, I'll let you know, and I'll post that as well. Hopefully, I'll be able to post all of this here. If I can post all of this here, then I will do that. I'll put the list together with the video if I can figure out how. But anyway, guys, let's not argue about this, man, because all we're doing is destroying ourselves. Nobody else in the world cares about all of this, all about this other than us. Yeah. And all we're doing is being self-destructive. Let's just give props where the props are due, and let's just keep growing and building. Yeah, let's talk in unison, not in argumentation. Yeah, we don't want to be like constantly beating our heads against the walls and whatever when everybody else in the world is looking at us and just thinking, what are these people doing? Because as interesting as it is, we don't need to be doing it. Yeah, because the facts are the facts. The dates, the names, the record releases, it's all there. We just need to document it and let people know. So I just want to say a massive big up to everybody who has been involved in putting this together, like as in the scene, the whole scene. And that includes previous generations. That includes the now generation. And you know what? I don't really care about the battles between UK and USA. That's irrelevant to me. It's not what this is all about. This is about giving props where the props are due. And that includes to all the DJs. That includes to all, even the media people that were behind the scenes. Your Normskis taking photos, your Paul H's, your Andy Cowans running the magazines, your Nat Illumin running the magazines. Everybody, your Shorty Blitz, your Sarah Love. Like, all of that, all of them, DJ MK, everybody. You know, let's just give the props where the props are due. Anyway, sorry for the long rant. I hope all of this makes sense, but I'm going to put the list together. If I can't do it on this post, I'll put it on the post to follow up. But yeah, thanks for watching. Take care. Peace.